The Super Bowl must have been a rough game for conservatives and Trump supporters to watch. On the one hand, you have Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team. On the other hand, you have a team whose home is a sanctuary city. That's enough to give one of them an aneurysm. And to those who say I shouldn't joke like that because someone actually could have an aneurysm over that, good. Prior to the AFC Championship game where they were set to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, my hometown team, the Baltimore Ravens, posted a video on their Twitter X feed featuring a caricature of a Ravens fan by podcaster and comedian, from what some people tell me, Stavros Halkias. If you want to imagine what the video looked like, imagine someone who looked like he was conceived at and born 9 months later at the sewage treatment facility in Dundalk. And then imagine him doing a caricature of a Ravens fan. If that's too much of a visual for you, then just imagine what it looks like when a dead body actually eats the maggots.
Ooh.
No wonder the officials made the calls they did against the Ravens. They were like, who do we want at the Super Bowl, Taylor Swift or this guy? Even Lamar Jackson saw that video and said, what the fuck am I even playing for? In a way, Stavros Halkias is the archetypal Baltimore sports fan, an overweight, balding racist. The same person at the Baltimore Ravens organization who thought it was a good idea to post the Stavros Halkias video was likely the same person who said, hey, Lamar Jackson can do a great job at running the ball in this, probably the most important lead up to the Super Bowl. The loss was felt hard in Baltimore. It was so bad at one point that no one could play a Taylor Swift song at a jukebox at a bar lest they be attacked by a tire iron. Although, to be fair, we do that anyway, because whenever we're at a bar, we start off drunk as fuck. I know, given the time of the year, one of the panelists who I have on this show is going to be tempted to sing something, but I am putting my foot down. So no, Jeff, you are not singing Meet the Mets on this podcast.
Darn it.
Joining us tonight to discuss the phenomenon that is Taylor Swift, please join me in welcoming Chelsea Abispa.
Hey.
Chelsea, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're looking very Swifty. I mean, you got
Oh my gosh, right?
yeah,
I look a
yeah.
little psycho like I'm trying to look like her, don't I? This is unrelated. I actually am a natural brunette. I dyed my hair for a Rocky Horror Picture Show shadow cast thing. And yeah, and the red, go Chiefs.
Well, if your attempt was to look psycho, you fit in very well on this show. So that's
good.
I'm very happy that you did that. So Chelsea, I think one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on is because, I get why someone would be into Taylor Swift. And then there's people respect her a lot as a musician. She's quickly become one of the fastest grossing musicians in the modern era. It's almost reached, it has and surpassed Beatles era. And then when she in the process, she's voiced her political opinions and came out in favor of women's rights and just at the risk of alienating a lot of her fans. It doesn't really seem to have done that. In fact, it's kind of strengthened her. Would you say that would be the case?
Yeah, I mean, everybody likes somebody who can take a stand. And with her starting, I think, with the country roots, everybody just assumed that she was more conservative. And I remember her documentary, Miss Americana, where she, not her original home state, Pennsylvania, but her home state of Tennessee, there was some senator that was running and had some really messed up political ideologies. And that was when she
Marsha
came out.
Blackburn, Republican, yeah.
Yeah, that's
the one.
In Miss America. She said she called Marsha Blackburn Trump with a wig, and I liked Taylor Swift even before that, but I became a Swiftie after that.
Yeah, and she has a lot of reasons to take the stand she takes, and she always voices them well too. It's not obligatory.
I think it also has to do with the fact that the decade that we're in, And I think just the sort of the extreme nature of the situation, like how divisive politics have gotten,
Mm.
and how toxic it's been as well. Because I'm old enough to remember it was then the Dixie Chicks, they were from Texas. They came out and took a stand against then against George W. Bush.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they took a lot of flack. They faced a lot of boycotts. They faced a lot of protests for that. And do you think, like, I think that's one of the benefits, I think, of sort of a toxic political culture. If you, I use the word benefit very, very loosely here.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the benefits of that have become that have made people become more tolerant about celebrities expressing their points of view.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea, tell about last year when she urged her fans to vote.
I mean, especially with everything that happened with COVID and it being a um midterm election, it's not as common, I think, for millennials. At least she has a lot of millennial fans, definitely some in other generations too. But I know personally I've only ever followed like the big presidential elections. So I think it's just she's trying to raise awareness that especially even on the local level, that's where you can really make a change.